Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. I'm your host, Kiera Dent, and I have this crazy idea that maybe I could combine a doctor and a team member's perspective because let's face it, dentistry can be a challenging profession with those two perspectives. I've been a dental assistant, treatment coordinator, scheduler, biller, office manager, regional manager, practice owner, and I have a team of traveling consultants where we have traveled to over 165 different offices coaching teams. Yep, we don't just understand you, we are you. Our mission is to positively impact the world of dental, and I believe that this podcast is the greatest way I can help elevate teams, grow VIP experiences, reduce stress, and create A-teams. Welcome to the Dental Team Podcast. Hello, Dental Team listeners. This is Kiera, and you guys, I am freaking pumped for today's podcast. This is one of my dear friends. Like, we are legit friends. Pre-show, we were actually talking about an actual vacation her and I are going to go on. This woman is incredible. I met her at some dental conventions. Her name is Vanessa, and she currently works with Dental Warranty. And guys, this woman is epic. Not only is she a good time, but she freaking knows her stuff. She is all about biz dev and marketing. And what I love is she's coming today onto the show to talk about ways that we can unconventionally grow our practice, help with case acceptance, keep the hygiene chairs full. So I know you guys are going to love it. Vanessa, welcome to the show. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm just as excited as you, Kiera. So I'm glad that a mutual excitement we both have.
You know, Vanessa, when I met her, she's just one of those people that I feel like I bring a lot of life and energy to the table, and Vanessa tops me, guys, like through and through. And we just have the most fun time. Like, Vanessa and I will be sitting at conferences just giggling and having the best time. I mean, Vanessa, I don't think I've ever had quite as big of an adventure as I did when we were in Philly just recently in May. I mean, I still giggle with you, me, Susan, Danny, like the whole crew. People say that people that go to conferences, dental conferences, were kind of like the traveling circus. Vanessa, you may have even said it. I don't remember who told me this, but I'm like, that is true. We all come, unroll our bag of tricks, have a ton of fun, and I can't wait to see you at the next one. So that's my intro on you, Vanessa, but I know there's a lot more to you. So kind of give people your background, what you do. You are a travel junkie like me, and all things dental is your world. But I don't even know if you came from dental originally. Like, I don't even know how you got into dental. So kind of just give us your background.
Yeah, how I became a part of the circus, basically.
Yes. How did you join
circus?
This? Yes.
So actually, my background was I originally wanted to go to pharmacy school.
Stop. That's what my husband is. Cute.
Really?
Keep going. Yes.
Yes. I originally wanted to go to pharmacy school and ended up graduating, getting my bachelor's in neuroscience, but decided I didn't want to go. I took the PCAT and everything, but just realized it wasn't something I was super passionate about. And at that time, I was going to school with people who, one of my best friends is a dentist, an ER doctor, PT, OT, and they were all like, do or die as I want to do. And I didn't quite know what I wanted to do. And so I actually started working at a dental marketing company on like the support side of things. And I worked there, ended up moving into sales. And I was there for maybe about, I have to think about this now. I think it was 6 years. I think I was there for about 6 years. And then I moved on to another dental company because, of course, once you start working in dental, you just get stuck in.
Like, people don't understand. It's like it's a very healthy cult, if you will. Like, we have, like, dentistry is wild, and you just stay in it. Once you get in, you never leave. So
completely. And by the way, I'm not upset by it either. I love it. I love what I do. Yeah. And so I moved to another company for about 4 years, ran business development there. And now I've been at Dental Warranty for a little over a year now, and just absolutely love it. And yes, dentistry, it just kind of sucks you in. But I think I personally love it because my background was always in the sciences and I love the sciences. And so to still be feeling connected in that regard, I absolutely love it.
That's awesome. Well, Vanessa, I'm super jazzed because one, I just adore you. So I knew today's podcast would be like one of the top of the entire day, if not the absolute top. And two, it's great. So we actually like pin our vacation on the calendar. Guys, we did it. We know exactly when we're doing it.
It's happening.
And both Vanessa and I were both thinking, because we're going to be at an event together, which is fun. Again, the traveling circus, we see each other, but both Vanessa and I were thinking, so event clothes are different than vacation clothes. How do we ship that? Vanessa's in Chicago. I'm in Reno. Don't worry, guys. All those logistics are there. But let's talk about, that's our unconventional traveling. And let's tie that into unconventional, growing your practice in an unconventional way, increasing that case acceptance, keeping that hygiene schedule full. That's why I'm super jazzed, because I feel right now, guys, offices who are thinking outside the box, offices that are doing things differently, are the offices that are going to win through recession, through patients not coming in as much. Like, you got to be this office, which is why you listen to podcasts. But don't just listen today. Let's make sure we execute. So, Vanessa, before we dive into all things dental warranty, I like you just to share, like, if people want to get in touch with dental warranty, how do they do it? Of course, we'll do it at the end of the show as well. But if they want to get in touch with dental warranty, how is the best way for them to connect just right off the bat? And then we'll talk about all those items.
Yeah, I mean, you can always find me on social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook. My name
Just
is
recently.
Vanessa Vitagliano.
Just recently, Vanessa. Don't
Just
get
recent. Okay, Instagram more recently, but you know what? I've been getting more involved. But yeah, it was a big step for me. So if you're on Instagram, friend me. I'll try to remember to friend me back because I'm still getting used to it. But yes,
totally.
But you find me on social media, LinkedIn as well. Otherwise, you can also give Dental Warranty a call. It is 855-559-1511. Or we also can get you the little extra special discount for those who are listening. Let us know either way. You're with Dental A Team, but you can also go to go.dentalwarrantycorp.com/dental A Team. So you can check us out there.
Cool. Okay. Let's talk about how we can grow our practice unconventionally, Vanessa. What are you seeing with offices? You've been doing this for a year. So let's talk about some of these different things people can do.
Yes. I think, you kind of mentioned it there a little bit too, Kiera, but just having to get a little creative at times. Dentistry has become so competitive. And for me, like I mentioned before, I've been about dentistry now for about 12 years. When I first started off, I was at a dental marketing company. Back then, if you just had a website with your name on it, you're good. Like you were just rocking it. You were so forward thinking, and it was the most basic website that had like nothing on it. And that was it, and then slowly as time went on, it was like, oh, okay, well, now you have to have a Google listing. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now you have to have like a Facebook page and a Twitter, it was like Twitter was a thing that you had to have at your practice.
Right.
Mobile friendly website. And, just over the years of just how much it has progressed. And now if you don't have a website,
forget it.
You might as well not exist. If you don't have a mobile-friendly website, you might as well not exist. If you're not on social media, you might as well not exist. If you don't have SEO, pay-per-click, it's just in even the last 12 years, so much has changed. Mm-hmm. And I think with that too, you're always having to think forward of what is next. How am I going to stand out? How can I, when there's, X amount of dentists in my town or on my street or even in my building, at times, depending on where you're located. And so, I think there's a lot of different ways that practices are trying to make themselves stand out. I think a lot of it really is through social media and their website, of making them stand out of this is what makes us different, showing their culture, trying to find that connection with patients because it is so competitive that their patients can easily just go somewhere else. Or they ask their friends and family, hey, who do you recommend to go to? Well, great. Now they have 5 options and they still have to narrow down those 5 options from those referrals. So how are you finding your way to stand out? And dental warranty is one of those ways that you can do that to make yourself stand out, and not only stand out, but offer that extra care that patients are looking for, and it makes it look like you're going the extra mile.
Mm-hmm. Which I think you're right. I love that you talked about the growth model that we've been on over the last decade. And I would say, guys, it exponentially got even more through COVID. And I think, Vanessa, you'd agree, because at that point we became a virtual digital company. People were getting bored. They're looking on social media. And so, well, yes, I don't want you to feel like you've got to do all these items, because I know when I first started the business, I was like, what the heck? Like, you want me to be on this? We just hired a new marketing girl and she's like, Kiera, you need to be on Pinterest. And I'm like, what do you want me to do on Pinterest? Like, luckily she loves that world. But the bottom line is, I agree. And I think the ways to stand out in dentistry are not having all the fanfare, not having all the pieces. Like, you can have your own personality that's dazzling. And I mean, the skateboard dentist, one of my favorite doctors, like if you guys don't know him, like anytime someone's like the skateboard dentist, like of course we all know the skateboard dentist, but if that's not you, I think the next best way is to stand out through offering what patients really care about. And that is giving them peace of mind. It's about giving them this warranty guys, dentistry is an investment for a lot of people. I swim in the world of dentists. I swim in the world of dental practices. In the traveling circus is where I swim. But my husband is a pharmacist and he swims in the world of healthcare professionals. Shelby's fiance, he swims in the world of contractors. Tiffany's son swims in the world of high schoolers. These people are not your dental people. And so what do they talk about? What they talk about, like Jason and I used to go to the hot tub all the time, and people, whenever they found out I was in dentistry, they're like, gosh, it's just so expensive. And then you never know if it's going to work. And then it always breaks. And then they have to give you another one. My eyelash girl, good night. When people find out you're in dentistry, you hear about their whole mouth. It's like I'm back in the practice while I'm getting my eyelashes done. She's got a captive audience. Eyes are shut. But she told me, she's like, Kiera, this crown is so expensive. They just did it. And now they're making me pay for it again. And I was like, hold up. How long ago was it done? What was the process? Is it the same practice? And I started asking questions. I was able to save her thousands of dollars. Don't worry, guys. I'm a good captive audience getting my eyelashes done. But I feel like that's how you can stand out now, is by offering this peace of mind, letting patients know, because one of the biggest risks of people saying yes to treatment is they're afraid that their investment they just made is going to be wasted. And people are, especially fixed incomes, like my in-laws, they're old. Like Jason was in an accident by 18 years. So they're very seasoned. Let's say it a little nicer. But Linda called me the other day, my mother-in-law, and she was like, Kiera, I've got to get 4 crowns. Do you think this is realistic? And I literally said, Linda, you got to determine how long are you going to live? Because at your age, like, I don't know. And she did it, but she did it with a dentist who gave her the confidence and the peace of mind that if it happened and she had to get it replaced, as long as she abided by certain rules, she would get it taken care of. So Vanessa, explain that, because I think that that's really what's helping offices stand out more, is that peace of mind, knowing their investments are protected and that they're going to be able to come back and get good dentistry again.
Completely. I mean, you even mentioned briefly the recession, for example. There's a lot of uncertainty between recession, the pandemic. I mean, what else do we want to throw in there? I mean, I feel like these last 2-3 years, it's different day by day of what's going on, And so people are looking just for any type of peace of mind at this point. And more than ever, really, and that's the reason why even like Apple Care exists. People get for the phones, for those who are like, yeah, you know what, sometimes I have dropped my phone and it's not been a fun day when it does happen. And so what's great about what we offer here is that it does include no fault. So for all those patients who, chewed on the soft bread that they claim they chewed on,
they forgot to mention they've been chewing on ice and ice and ice and more ice. It just happened on this soft piece of bread.
Right. Completely. You hear all those stories. And so, in those situations, the patient feels more confident moving forward. The practices already are having these conversations with patients. Patients are asking, how long is this going to last? If I move forward with this, how long is, just like you mentioned with your mother-in-law, if I do this, how long is it going to last me? And obviously you do the best techniques, use the best services, whatever it may be, but things just happen and it's out of the practice's control and it's out of the patient's control. And so it's a way of still keeping those patients happy and healthy. It's still keeping the practice financially healthy because, well, I guess I should probably backtrack here a little bit, but with the protection plans that practices offer through dental warranty, whenever something does break or fail, the patient pays nothing. Mm-hmm. And then we pay the practice for doing that retreatment. And so there's no longer the giving away free dentistry. I mean, you still can for, certain situations if you're wanting to, but for those patients that have the protection plan, they are covered. And so if something does happen, those patients, number one, are more likely to go back into the practice. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they just won't go back because like, I don't want to know how expensive this is going to be. I don't know if I can afford that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to whatever. So now that patient may be suffering silently, or maybe they've been embarrassed on how it happened. And so they're now more likely to come back in to get that treatment they need done. To keep the protection plan active, patients are required to come in for the routine hygiene. So in general, it's keeping those patients healthy that way, and keeping the hygiene chairs full, which is going to help with your revenue right there as well. And then now I just blanked, Kiera.
That's okay. No, because I'm glad because
I felt so good about it too.
It was so good because we were talking about like when they have these claims, when they come in, like they're going to keep coming back to you. And so this is allowing your practice to actually grow and flourish, and you as the practice aren't losing money when these things happen because you have the warranty plan in place. I'm glad you actually like didn't remember your train of thought, because I was thinking of a few questions that I guarantee you practices are thinking of. Number one, one, I love this idea because great, they have to come in for their routine hygiene. So guys, check, our hygiene schedule is going to be more full. Like it's a guarantee they have to be in there. We all know, like guys, if you've heard of Clear, Clear does a ton of research, and Brad and I've had several podcasts, and I only bring them up because they do so much research. But the reality is they've literally proven that patients who come in for their regular cleanings will do, I think it's 35 to 40% more treatment than those that come in once a year. So already there, guys, you've got hygiene schedule full, so we're not having hygienists sitting there. Number two, we've got more treatment being diagnosed. Number three, with a warranty plan on there, I promise you, guys, I'm a TC and I'm a freaking killer TC. On a culture index, guess what? I'm a persuader. I am dang good at closing cases. But the objection I always get is, Kiera, what if this isn't done? I don't want to have to go through insurance, blah, blah, blah. Insurances have these stupid 5-year waiting plans. Like there's so much junk around it that this gives them the literal risk-free motive to move forward. But I can already hear our dentist, Vanessa, and I want you to answer a few questions. Question number one is, okay, is this like normal insurance claims where it takes forever for us to get paid? Because I could already see that being like, okay, how hard is it for me to get paid? Number two is, what's the benefit of working with you guys rather than just doing it in-house? Because like my membership plan covers this. Why would I want to either A, pay you guys or have my patients sign up for the membership plan plus the warranty plan? Like that feels clunky. So one is, no, I can't remember one. One was how hard is this for claim? Don't worry, guys, we're total professionals over here. One is like, how hard is it to get the claims paid? And second is, why should I utilize you guys rather than just doing it myself?
Right. So we really want to partner with practices. You know, first of all, we're not an insurance company. So
you didn't like that reference.
We are not an insurance company. We do not claim to be an insurance company at all. And so we really want to partner with practices because really at the end of the day, the more you like us, the more successful we are. And so we really want our clients to be happy, and we want our clients' patients to be happy with them. You know, so we do not want to make where we have to jump through hoops and make it difficult. And so we do make it pretty simple. First of all, we pay out in 30 days.
Cool.
And what we do is when there's a claim, we just ask for basic documentation that practices already have. Basically, what's the documentation before you did the procedure and then after the procedure. And so we know the proof that, hey, this was done. This is what happened. Here's the situation. And so we just want to make sure there's no like malpractice going on for the most part, or that's the actual right tooth as well. That was actually warranted.
Don't worry. I've seen that only a few times on insurance fraud. Totally fine. Not good, guys. Don't do that. It's bad. Don't do that.
But yeah, so it's very simple. And like I said, we want to make sure that you're getting paid right away for that.
Do you pay office fee? Do you pay what it was? Do you guys have a fee schedule? How does that work out?
It's the practices. So it's based off of what the practice's UCR fee is. And that's also even how the patient is charged as well. So how it works is our protection plans, you can charge between 10 and 15% of what your treatment cost is. Okay. And we take 10%. The rest goes to the practice. So if you wanted to create, you know, where it's a 15% protection plan, dental warranty takes 10, the extra 5% goes to the practice. Mm-hmm. So that's revenue that you're able to generate right away. They can utilize for like team bonuses, maybe 401k, maybe a team trip, maybe offset COVID costs, put more towards marketing, whatever you want to use that money for, but does give you that opportunity straight out of the gate. If you're wanting to generate some revenue based off of that percentage itself, you're able to, but you're also going to generate revenue because you're not having to go away free dentistry anymore.
Right.
So think of all those cases that, you know, you end up discounting or giving away for free because you felt bad based on what the situation was with the patient. You know, it could be a patient that you just love and it was their fault technically, but you just feel bad and you don't want to upset them. And they've always paid their bills. And so you're like, you know what, we'll just charge them the lab fees. Yep. But you're still taking that hit, you know? So this is a way of protecting yourself that way. And also you're kind of like the hero in the situation as well. I mean, we've had situations where there was this patient that got about like $30,000 work done on her mouth and was loving life and feeling confident now, and was in the Kohl's parking lot looking for a new outfit to match new confidence, and just hit her face on a curb.
Dang.
And in that situation, she went back in the practice, and that's not a fun day for anyone involved to see your
No.
patient come back in from that. But for them to like, it was amazing because we're like, hey, don't worry about it. Just sit down. We'll take care of you. So they did the retreatment. The patient had to pay nothing. She was like, this was amazing. It really turned her day around. And the practice looks like the heroes in that situation. Because the last thing you want to do is be like, okay, well, it's going to cost this much. And well, we can only do this now, maybe, and maybe do that later, and whatever you feel comfortable with. And no, it's a way that you're able to really offer that like all-star service. It's turning what was a bad day into a great one. And those patients are more likely to review you, to refer, like, hey, go to Dr. So-and-so. Like, I had this situation happen. And they were great. I was able to just go back in. They fixed me up. Like, they're all so sweet, and move on with my day. So, yeah, it's as a dental A team. Remember that you're really offering like a team service to these patients.
Are you guys sick of trying to figure it out on your own? I know I am. When I'm trying to run a business, sometimes I just think like there's got to be a better way to do this. And so for me, my answer has been to find someone who's done it and does it really, really, really well. Like I'm talking the best of the best of the best. I want someone who's been in my shoes, somebody who understands what I'm going through. When I was looking for the consulting business, I found a coach who literally has run a consulting business. Well, that seems like the perfect fit. So you guys, right now we have a few spaces open in our Platinum Consulting. That is in the consulting where we actually come to your practice. We help you get systems implemented. We don't just tell you what systems to implement. We actually implement them with you and for you. You guys, it is one of the best investments I've ever made is to hire a coach who understands the business I'm in, who's lived it, who's done it. And that's what we in the Dental team do. We literally physically fly to you. So if you're sick of trying to figure it out on your own, if you just want somebody who understands you, join our Platinum. I'd love to have you. I'd love to have our consulting team come out and see you, be in your office, be with your team, and truly help you get onto the easy path of dentistry. It doesn't have to be hard. So join us in the Platinum. We'd love to have you. Well, and I'm just thinking like as a practice owner, as a team member, those free redos, that's just junk. Like it's great and we know we need to do it. But I know on the day, I'm like, all right, great. We got to do this crown. We got to redo it. And I don't want to block the right amount of time. I don't want to scrimp on it. But also it's like it's a $0 and I'm trying to hit my production numbers and we've got to do it. That's just part of it. Or if you had an associate, like what happens if an associate leaves? Because that happens all the time. Or you buy a practice and there's a dentist who maybe did a little bit senior citizen dentistry and we're going to be redoing a lot of that. Like does the dental warranty work there? Because I'm thinking that's a huge zone where I'd want to protect my practice because I've seen a lot of associates come through, they burn and churn, they leave. I have a practice I'm thinking of in my mind. They were there for 6 months and they are still doing redos because, I mean, number one, do a better associate onboarding. Like let's start there. Let's be proactive. But secondly, does the warranty help with that if the associate does leave or a selling doctor, it still is in effect?
Yes. Yeah. So how it actually works is it follows the patient. So it's nationwide. So whether they go on vacation and something happens, they can see a local dentist out there to get what they need done. You get snowbird situations. You have dentists that cater to maybe military where you have families kind of going in and out. You have associates that might leave your practice. You might sell your practice. You may acquire a practice, whatever it may be. It follows the patient wherever they go. So it makes it really easy in that regard for everyone involved. And so going back to what you kind of mentioned, Kiera, earlier that I haven't quite answered yet is why not do this yourself?
Yeah.
One of the reasons is that if you do it yourself, it only pertains to your practice only. And obviously you want to keep your patients within your own practice, but there's going to be situations, like I said, if an associate leaves, if, a patient moves or it might be, they're still going to be covered. I was actually just in St. Thomas last week for a conference and there was a practice there that loved this idea because they have patients that go back to the mainland all the time or whatever it may be. And so like, well, that's perfect because if they happen to be back on the mainland, something happens, I know my patient's going to be taken care of.
For sure.
And so that would be one of the reasons. And we pay you to do the retreatment. So once again, too, that's something that you're just able to add that additional revenue for your practice.
Sure. And I'm just thinking like guys, I can already hear some of our dentists saying like I don't want them to have an opportunity to go to another practice. Guys, just so you know, like let me set the record straight. Unless you are doing junk dentistry and you hurt your patient and you give painful injections and their bill is always wrong, patients don't like to switch dentists. Just like they don't like to switch hair girls, they don't like to switch eyelash girls, they don't like to switch nail girls, they don't like Jason hates to get a different barber because his haircut doesn't look right. Like people don't like to switch, especially on intimate things, and their mouth is very intimate. I have zero desire to go meet someone and have them judge my mouth unless I have to. So don't worry, I don't think it will be a loss of patience. It really is helping them close more cases. You look like the hero. And then if something does happen on the road, they're taken care of. So again, you look like the hero. So Vanessa,
Right.
walk us through how does this work? Like I'm a patient, I'm in a practice, like because I can see, is this on the patient who needs to sign up for it? Is it the practice who's doing it? Because if it's following me as the patient, how exactly does this work?
Yeah. So if you got signed up with dental warranty, you would be a dental warranty practice. So your practice itself. And so this would be something that then you can incorporate into your treatments. So whether you want to include it in the fees itself and just, include that extra percentage in the total cost and say, hey, by the way, this implant that you're getting right now comes with a 6-year protection plan, or you can offer as an option, as an add-on, and give them the option of accepting or not. What's great about even that second part, even if they say no, okay, cool. We all move on with their lives. They said no, but now the expectations are set up front. That's the difference, that now they know, hey, if XYZ happens, I'm the one who is liable for that. I'm the
Sure.
one who's going to have to pay again if I need retreatment because they gave me the option. And so practices love that because I think that's become such big headaches. And for me, that was something that I didn't know until I moved into dental warranty. And Kiera, since you were in a practice, you probably know all along, but I didn't realize how many practices are just giving away free dentistry out
Oh,
of like guilt and just like those
yes.
feelings and don't want to piss them off and don't know whatever.
Like
And so,
practices I have them actually track it. I make them put a code on there of free dentistry. So guys, if you're on the fence and thinking if you want to do this, just make a code, not an ADA code, so a
yes.
practice code. Just call it
Yep.
free dentistry. I don't care if you discount off the cost of what it is and only charge the lab fee. That's fine. Because in your mind, it's kind of like budgeting. In my mind, I think on Amazon, I have spent $200. And when I get the bill, it is loads higher than two. But in my mind, guys, all of my, like, I just bought like a bag here. I bought this there. I bought a t shirt. Like, it was like 5 items. Yeah, right. It was like 55 items. So I think for practices, like, just do this experiment. If nothing else from today, try
Do the
this.
experiment.
Check to see how much you're giving away. And practices, on average, what I see in a solo practice is between $30,000 to $100,000 worth, like $30,000 to $100,000 worth of free dentistry or discounted dentistry every month. That is every month that I see when they actually. And what I do is I play a fun game. I'm like, so here's the deal. Because doctors are like, I don't really want to stop giving away free dentistry. I'm like, you don't have to. You get to do. But what I'll say is like, let's just track it for a month. And then we're going to split it. Half of it's coming to me. Half of it's going to you. You gave it away for free anyway. So like, it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to build that to my shoe collection. And you're going to be Venmoing me this money for all of my shoe purchases for the next, depends on how much I spend on Amazon, right, guys? But the bottom line is, as soon as they see that dollar amount, they never want to Venmo me the amount. They don't realize, and it's just like I think our Amazon spending, where we don't realize how much we're doing until you track it. So I'd say nothing else, at least do that. But agreed, like there is so much given away in free dentistry. So I think this is a good, not just revenue build, but like you don't have to have the guilt either because you gave them the option. And now if they choose not to, they also know. And you can put that, like I was thinking as you said that, I would throw that on my treatment plan. Like
Oh
patient
yeah.
declined dental warranty. Therefore, patient knows they are responsible for total like 100% out of pocket costs. Guys, it's just like to me, I was like, Apple Care is a really good way because if I decline Apple Care, I have to then pay the full amount of my phone if it breaks. But right then and there, I know as the consumer and I can make a decision and be educated rather than being ticked off when my crown breaks or my teeth breaks and I call you and you're like, now you owe the same amount. And I'm like, the eyelash girl and she's ready to switch to dentist because she's ticked off with you because she didn't know. Okay. So it follows
Completely.
that. You can sign right there. So how does that work with insurance though, Vanessa? That's been like my in the back of my mind because I'm like, oh, we can't do anything with insurance plans. We're in contracted rates. How does this work if a patient does have insurance?
That's totally fine because it's just based off of what your UCR is. So what the patient ends up paying, you can still include insurance and everything like that, but the value of the actual procedure would be based off of your UCR. So even if they only end up paying $400 for maybe $1,000 procedure, that procedure is still worth $1,000 in our mind. And so what we'll do is if something happens, so let's use an example, like let's say a crown was $1,000 and they purchased a protection plan on it. So the value of that crown is $1,000. And if something happens, we'll pay up to that $1,000. So if it's another crown, same procedure, and it's $1,000, then there's your $1,000. But what's neat too is that can be used towards next steps as well. So if something happens to that crown that you have protected and now it needs to be an extraction and implants, well, obviously the tooth's no longer in the mouth. So what happens at $1,000 is actually could be put towards the extraction and the implant.
Cool.
So now it's helping those patients once again stay healthy and be more likely to move forward towards those next steps, because now to go from a crown to an implant, like, well, an implant's going to cost me X amount and I don't know if I want to pay. Like, oh, don't worry, actually, because you have that protection plan, $1,000 of that actually goes towards the next steps. And so, and then you have insurance and whatever, so this is what your remaining balance is. So it really helps push patients that direction, and then the patient can buy a protection plan on that implant.
Brill.
So it makes it easy that way too.
Because I'm thinking waiting periods. So let's say that crown breaks. Most insurance companies have a 5-year waiting period on a crown, but the dental warranty is going to kick in, help cover it. Because at that point, it would be total out of pocket, which is why you guys are doing UCR fees. Is that correct?
Right. Yes. Clever. And so for when it comes to the parameters of what we do here, so first 90 days, we don't cover any failure. We leave that to the discretion of the practice to fix that, which they normally would anyways themselves. If something happens in the first 90 days, they normally at no cost will fix it for their patients. But if an accident happens within the first 90 days, we do cover that for them because that's out of the practice's control. And it is a 6-year protection plan. So the patients would be covered for 6 years. And then we do not cover loss. That's the only other parameter is loss. Because we do work with
their denture. Those are rough
we do handle appliances, and we need to make sure they're not hoarding them in their house. So they want one for like every day of the week. But let me tell you, dogs like to chew appliances.
Yes, they do.
And we have seen lots of pictures and documentation of appliances found in, let's just say, some dog poop.
I believe it.
As the proof that the dog chewed it.
Disgusting. Okay, so 6 years is how long it is, and it's for the full UCR fee, so that way you guys are covered, even if there are those waiting periods, which I think that's actually a good double, especially if you're a heavy PPO practice. Even as a fee-for-service, I think it's a great win that way. 6 years, I do like it's not going to take care of it as if it gets lost, which I think that's very fair and not within the first 90 days. And then what is like the cost up front? So is it just a tack on a 15% beyond that? Is it like, does the practice have to pay anything up front? How does that work on cost?
Right. So like I mentioned before, for the patient, it's the 10 to 15% of the UCR fee.
So if my crown is $1,000, it would be $150 if I'm doing the full 15%. Correct. I think I did my math right. Okay.
Yep. And then $50 goes to the practice and the 100 goes to the dental warranty. Yep.
Which is pretty clever. Okay.
Yes.
And especially if I'm closing, say 10, I mean, you think of how many treatment plans come through every day, stack that on.
Oh, you know, it adds up.
I'm thinking like even just 10, that's $500 that month. That is an easy way for bonuses for, like you said, I like the ideas that you listed off of that. And I don't feel bad because I'm thinking on a crown, it's $1,000, which realistically, guys, most crowns are $1,500 now. Tack on that 15%. We're looking at, what is that? That one's hard. Let's do 1,000. That's 150. I think that one's like 250.
That's okay. I can't do math in my head either. I'm a good visual person.
But reality is, to me as a patient, especially for 6 years, when you told me that it was 6 years, I think most people would happily sign up for that. Okay, so it's 15% on top of our UCR fee and the patient pays that. So even if I'm on insurance and my out of pocket's $400, I'd pay the $400 plus the $150 that day. Correct. So $550. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And it's all being billed through the practice. And so, like I mentioned before, we really want to make it like they were partnering with practices. So we want the practice to say, hey, this is our protection plan. You know, this is something that they're offering. And so with those charges, like you mentioned before, with the code and everything, that it's just going to be on the treatment there. Mm-hmm. And the patient's going to pay the practice for it. And then we get the money from the practice. So everything's going to be going through the practice. to make it look like it's their protection plan. And then in regards to what the practice pays, it is a one-time $750 that we actually, would discount anyone who's listening to this. We take $500 off. So it's only $250 and that's it. There's no monthly, no annual fees, $250 that even going off of that, one example you had there, Kiera, you get 2 crowns and that 50%, it paid for itself right there and more. So really there's nothing to lose for the practice. And, these are all things you're already doing at the office. You're already having these conversations. And so it's going to just make it easier to have these conversations with patients and market it. Use this as something to stand out, kind of like we talked about earlier in the conversation of how to make yourself stand out. All over your website, all over social media, you're always looking for what can we talk about? What can we say? Say, hey, we now offer a 6-year protection plan on all of our dental treatment. Hey, we have a special on, implants this month. By the way, as it comes with our 6-year protection plan. Have any more questions? Ask us, come into the practice. It's something else you can use to make yourself stand out, create conversation, and look like you're really offering that white glove service to your patients.
Totally. And I'm thinking logistically as a practice, okay, how simple? So one, it's $250, which I think that's a no brainer, guys. Surely use Dental A Team on that, get that discount. Thank you for that. Second thing is I would tack on that 15%. And the reason I would do it is because inflation costs are supplies are going to go up in the future. So because my UCR is $1,000 today, well, next year I'm going to do, hopefully you guys are doing your fee raises every single year over 6 years, that 5% bump every year, your crown's probably going to be that high and you're only going to get paid that 15% that one time. So I would surely do that just as and I wouldn't feel guilty about it whatsoever. And then you guys, Dental Warranty bills me basically like an invoice every month of here's all the claims, here's all the people who signed up for it. This is the total that you pay us. So I'm going to see you guys as a line item. And I'm thinking also logistically as a practice, front office, I'm going to have you swipe it. That's easy. But bookkeeping wise for owners, I would personally just have it set up and categorized so I could see how much revenue I was bringing in from the dental warranty. Honestly, you guys know I'm a profit first fan. I would have my bucket for it. And then I'd utilize that for, like you said, either marketing to grow the practice, for bonuses for the team, because at that point I know how much I'll get. And I would also easily add that code, put it on, and I would have it, guys, as an explosion code for all the procedures that you could tack this on. So fillings, crowns, bridges, dentures, partials. I was like, ortho, probably not as much because really they're only going to lose maybe a night guard or things like that. But night guards, retainers, all those different pieces on there. I'm guessing dental warranty, Vanessa, you can say yes or no. I would guess you guys probably have the verbiage of what's covered, not covered. So when they sign up for it, It's already there. So very simple, right?
Yes, completely. And we when practices sign up with us, we do send a welcome box as well to the practice. So you'll have brochures that you can actually physically give to patients, little signs you can hang up in your office, and just some basic things for the practice that they can have physically in their hands that talks about dental warranty. But yeah, we try to make it, very simple. We have a great onboarding team here that will help the practice every step of the way of, if they have a question about a claim or, hey, did I do this right? They will answer all those questions. But like I said, these are all things you're already doing in the practice. And so we have a portal that will track all these, all these warranties that you've registered. You can see the revenue that's coming from it and everything like that too. So it's something you can always just log in and actually see how much revenue your practice has, gained from dental warranty so far, whether it's from that little extra percentage or because we're actually paying you for the retreatment.
Amen.
It adds up so fast, where we have practices that, in the time of them being a client of ours, have netted $6 million based on claims as well as claims as well as the percentage. So easily this can be a huge generator for the practice.
Well, I'm just thinking okay, break this down in very simple steps. Guys, if you're on the fence, I would do what we talked about earlier. And number one, I would track how much free dentistry is actually leaving. Office managers are going to freaking love me right now because they know the doctor is always giving away free dentistry. Shelby even says the same thing about me, guys. It's just this weird owner thing. I'm like, Shelbs, throw a discount on there. And she's like, Kiera, 1, we don't discount our fees. 2, I don't have a discount. And 3, what the heck? You guys do a great job. And I was like, I know, I I just don't want a reduction. Like I'm pulling my hair, guys. I'm like stressed out of my mind. So it's totally normal, doctors. I'm not judging you. I do it too. I understand, but just track it so you can see, because that dollar amount is going to show you that's the amount that you would actually be bringing back into the practice with dental warranty. So I think like if you're on the fence of wondering if this is a good ROI, I would spend 1 to 3 months tracking this. Probably realistically, you'll see the ROI in like 2 days. But then from there, it sounds very simple. And that's what I like, is very easy. I put it in. So the time effort will be tracking it to see how much free dentistry we're giving away, to updating all my explosion codes to add this as a line item of every treatment plan so that I can just offer it. You could easily attach it because you'll just figure out the 10%. Yes, the maintenance will be when you update your fee schedules to make sure that you update that 15%. Because you can either do mental math or just add it on. And then that's pretty much it. And then when there's a claim, you go to dental warranty. They're paying you within 30 days. And maybe the fourth step, if you're really going to get crazy, is having your bookkeeper set up to line item this and put it as your chart of accounts. But like $250 is how much it's going to cost me. I'm going to get paid for all these redos. So instead of my visits being $0, they're now actual UCR. So it's even better than what the insurance would be covering me. And I'm not having to wait 5 years. So patients are getting better dentistry done. I'm closing more cases because there's peace of mind on there. These patients have to come in for hygiene. Like Vanessa, I just feel like I stacked it so well right there that I'm like, why would you not?
I'm like, love it. Even I'm like, oh man, that sounds amazing. What is this?
Like, why would you not? And I mean, the great news is I know Vanessa's with dental warranty. I had to change her name because I knew her when she was with her prior business. So I literally just had to update her name. And I didn't actually know all these benefits. So this has been a genuine conversation of like trying to process through it. What happens with insurance, asking questions that I know practices would ask. But as I'm tallying it up, I see it as a like no brainer. Why would you not? I just think of my dentist that I used to work for giving away so many like lab only, but yet you could get full UCR. Like that's better. Right. You guys could stay in network, get UCR fees. You don't want to hope and pray your dentistry breaks.
Less stress.
Yes. And
have
your patients
less
love
stress of how to handle these situations. And, that's a thing too of, with everything like that you guys do at Dental A Team too, of just like systems and consistency, when you have all these like one-off situations of how do we handle this situation with this patient? A lot of times it does come down to whether you like them, did they pay, did they, whatever it may be.
And it really is. Do I like this patient?
It is. Like, we don't want to admit it, but it's true. And so that creates time loss in the practice. It creates these weird situations that for team members, they don't know how to handle it then, because it's all these weird one-off situations of like, well, we handle it like this with this patient, but we didn't handle it with that patient. So how should I handle it with this one? Because this one's this situation. Does it fall into this one? Or how do we, and that takes time of not just that individual is trying to handle it, but normally they're pulling in the doctor, the office manager, whoever it may be. So it's all that time wasted, that brain power, but then you're also playing defense, you're not wanting to piss off the patient, and despite it's nothing to do with even the practice. A lot of times it's not even the practice's fault. It's because, maybe they, I was going to say they were an idiot, but that sounds terrible. But maybe they were.
It's fair.
We've heard everything of where patients have vacuumed up their retainers, dogs have chewed them, where patients are opening up, a can with their tooth. And we've heard it all. And so have you at practices. And so those aren't situations to where you should be reliable for it. But for some reason, and Kiera, you mentioned this before too, is sometimes patients just for some reason in dentistry have that expectation, despite it was clearly their fault. They think it was the practice should just give it to them for free. I would never go to Apple if I didn't have Apple Care and say, hey, I dropped my phone in my toilet. Give me my free phone.
You'd probably lie to them.
Well, no, I don't. But I need a new phone now, and you sold me the phone. It just would never happen. So
I love it. I think and as I'm listening to this more and more, I just feel like, guys, it's brilliant. Why not? You're not paying monthly. You can try it out, but I'm already seeing massive ROI of more cases closed, more patient loyalty, ways to practice that or ways to market to new patients of this is what we do for peace of mind. This is the way of the future, guys. I will promise you, because when this has trickled, thank you dental warranty, but guys, it was already there. This will become patient's expectation in the future. So I would jump on this bandwagon now because this will be what your patients expect in the future. Just like I expect Apple to fix my phone and I'm going to pay them for the Apple Care, but that is where society will go. So knowing that there are warranty programs out there, I will promise you this will be the way of the future. So Vanessa, I loved this. This is freaking rad, guys. Do it. Vanessa, I guarantee you everybody wants to sign up now. And office managers, you can even try it out because it's $250. Like, what doctor is going to say no to that? Except for my one doctor, he did text me, guys. I did a podcast and I said, my cheapest, the cheapest, most frugal, like most tightest doctor. And he was like, Kiera, that was actually the most like complimentary title you could have ever given. I think that that's probably me. And I was like, it was you. You got it. But I even think he would pay the $250 for this just because of the ROI back into the practice. So Vanessa, how do people connect with you guys? Where do they go? Make sure they get that Dental A Team discount. How can they get connected?
Yes. So go to go.dentalwarrantycorp. So that's corp.com/dental A Team.
Cool. And that's just Dental A Team, not the Dental A Team, right?
Yes, just Dental A Team.
Guys,
yep.
I'm still working on getting the domain, okay? Everybody's judging me for the last 5. I get it. Just Dental A Team, guys. But Vanessa, that was rad. I love it. I love what you guys do. I adore you as a person, but I also adore you because the companies you work for are just great companies that I love to recommend and share. And I love you being on the podcast today. I think this is a fun way for offices to really generate revenue, increase the peace of mind for patients, help keep their hygiene schedules full in something like you said they're already doing. And we broke it down for you guys in 4 easy steps that you don't even have to do all 4. You literally could start adding this value to your practice and to your patients. So Vanessa, loved having you. Thank you for being on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right, guys, go try it out. If nothing else, track how much free dentistry you're giving away. I would 100% do this. We get no kickbacks from it. I literally just love what this company is, and I was so excited to share it with you. So go try it out. Contact Vanessa. If you guys need help, you can always email us hello@thedentalateam.com. You know, our consultants and our coaches help offices get this set up, teach offices and teams how to use this verbiage and how to show it and how to put it on those treatment plans. So if that felt daunting, don't worry, guys. You know we'll take care of you. So reach out anytime, hello@thedentalateam.com. And as always, thanks for listening. I'll catch you next time on the Dental A Team podcast. And that wraps it up for another episode of the Dental A Team podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.